Hello and welcome to an Einstein Retirement Workshops presentation. We're going to talk a little bit about some specifics for Social Security benefits. If you'd like to join us for our full presentations on topics like Social Security and taxes, we would certainly invite you to do so. And we'd simply encourage you to subscribe to our subscribe to our YouTube channel, like and follow our Facebook page, and that'll ensure that you're able to see our full presentations and live workshops. This video that we're putting together here is going to go a little bit deeper into a topic about Social Security. Specifically, the topic at hand is how are your benefits actually calculated? And apparently I was on the last slide, not the first slide, so let's switch there. There we go. Just real quick, as is always the case, we are not employed by nor are we affiliated with the Social Security Administration. We provide this content and are able to provide retirement advice because of our registered investment advisory firm, City Center Advisors, and so that's how we provide this content to you. Okay, how are your benefits calculated? Well, first of all, it's important to know, how you qualify, which is by having substantial earnings in a calendar quarter. That substantial earnings is specifically $1,410 in a calendar quarter, earning you up to 4 credits per year. Total of 40 credits qualifies you for a benefit. 10 years worth of work is required to actually qualify for a Social Security benefit. However, the way that your benefit's calculated is that Social Security will use the highest 35 years of earned income, your wages that participate in FICA taxes, Social Security taxes. And so it's not the actual benefits, though, it's the benefits after they've been indexed. So when you want to calculate your benefits, there's 4 steps to do that. The first is determine what are the highest 35 years of earnings that you have after they've been indexed for inflation. Now, some of you have attended our live workshops, and so maybe you have our Social Security filing workbook. If you don't have that and you would like it or you want to find it, you want to look up an indexing table online. But to give you an idea of this, for example, if you had earned income in the year 1980 that was $25,027, that is worth, in today's dollars, $92,963. So when Social Security calculates your benefit, they're not using 25, they're using $92,963 if you earned $25,000 in 1980. So after you've indexed all of your numbers to get their value in today's dollars, you add the highest 35 of those years together. Usually that number is in the millions of dollars. And then you would divide it by the total number of months over 35 years, 420. So whatever that number comes out to be, the highest 35 years added all together, you divide it by 420 months, and that gives you what is called your AMI, or your average indexed monthly earnings. Step 4, to know what your benefit will be, is to apply the bend points to the AMI, the average indexed monthly earnings. So here's an example. So the bend points in the year 2020, the first bend point is $960. So whatever your AMI is, let's say it's $7,083 in this example down here. The first 960 of that AMI is going to get 90% of that in terms of what it means to your Social Security benefit. The amount between $5,785, assuming your AMI is above that, and 960 gets 32% of that in your benefit calculation. And anything above the $5,785, you get 15% of that. So if you had an average index salary of $85,000 over the course of your working years, and you have all 35 years of your work history, then your total your total amount participating in the AMI is 2,975,000. You would divide that by the number of months, which is 420 months, which gives you an average index monthly earnings of $7,083. But your benefit, your Social Security benefit, is not $7,083. To find out what your benefit would be, you would have to apply the bend points. So what happens is the first $960 participates at 90%, so $864 of Social Security. The amount in between the 960 and 5,785, you get 32% of that, $1,544. And then anything above the 5,785, so 7,083 minus 5,785 gives us 1,920 or 298.33. You get 15% of that, or $192. So a person who's had an average index monthly earnings of $7,083 has a full retirement age. So whatever your full retirement age is, whether that's 66, 66 and some number of months, maybe it's 67, whatever your full retirement age is, this would be your estimated full retirement age benefit. So you add these numbers together, gives you $2,603. So someone over the course of their working years had an average income of $85,000, indexing, of course, for inflation, would have a Social Security benefit of $2,603. Now, one thing that I want to point out here is that higher income earners do not necessarily see big increases to their Social Security benefit relative to lower income earners. And the reason for that is because of the 15% participation when you go into higher income. So the person with $85,000 of average income over their lifetime has a benefit of $2,600. The person with $105,000 of average income over their lifetime has a benefit of $2,800. Now, the person who's had income at around $105,000 over their lifetime has 23% more in income when in their working years. But in terms of their Social Security benefit, this is only a 9.5% increase. So they earn 23% more, but the amount more they got in Social Security is only 9.5%. So a very common thing that I'll hear people say is, well, my spouse earns so much more income from me, so, maybe I'll get the spousal benefit. Well, not necessarily, because you have to earn a lot more income for that to kick in. The other thing is for those of you who are divorced and are wondering, maybe a spousal benefit would be better for me because my ex earned more income. There again, if you're earning 85 and they're earning 105, even though they did earn a lot more income, the difference in the benefit isn't big enough. Because again, like an ex-spousal benefit, for example, it'd be half of theirs. So 14,000 or 1,400, and your 26 is certainly going to be more than that. So you have to be aware and you have to pay attention to the fact that just because you're a high income earner doesn't mean you're getting this much higher Social Security benefit. Okay, Social Security and the way these calculations work, where the 90% at 960, 32% at the next 4,000 and change, and then anything above that is only participating at 15%. It favors lower income earners from that perspective as a replacement of their earnings over their lifetime. Now, on the flip side of this, some people will say, well, what if I don't have all 35 years of work history? What happens then? Well, when Social Security calculates your benefit, if you don't have all 25 years of 35 years of work history, they're going to add zeros into your benefit calculation. So for example, 25 years of work means that when they add up your highest 35, they're adding 10 zeros into that calculation. Now, that sort of begs the question, what if I don't have all 35 years, should I keep working? Maybe necessarily. Should I necessarily keep working just because I don't have all 35 years? Well, that gets a little bit trickier. So let's look at a person, an example where a person has an average income of $50,000. A person with an average income after indexing of $50,000 has lifetime earnings for Social Security of $1,250,000. You divide that by the 420 months, okay, that's the total number of months in 35 years. And so that gives you $2,976 of average indexed monthly earnings. So the question is should I keep working? So with a 2,976 AMI, you have a Social Security benefit of $1,509. So someone with 25 years of work, average income of $50,000, has a Social Security benefit at full retirement age of $1,509. One more year of work is an AMI of $3,095, taking that benefit to $1,547. 1,547 more than 1,509 is a 2.5% increase. So is it worth working one more year to get another 2.5% out of your Social Security? Well, that's kind of a personal decision that you have to make, but possibly, right? It may be possible that that's a good decision. Now, this gets a little bit bigger if you can fill up all 35 years. So if you're younger and it's like, hey, I can get to that 35 years, the average income after indexing $50,000 a year, we know that right now that's a 2,976 of an AMI, but after 10 more years of work, it takes it up to 4,166. And that turns that $1,500 benefit into an $1,800 benefit. That's a 25% increase in the amount of Social Security benefits that would be available. So in that case, we might say, hey, it looks like a good deal. Maybe this is something that should be considered to try and get more out of our Social Security. Now, this changes, though, for the higher earners. A higher earner, say someone who has an average income after indexing of $100,000 over 25 years, average index monthly earnings, $5,952, their benefit, $2,433. One more year of work takes the AMI up to $6,190, $2,468 of a benefit. That's only a 1.4% increase. So in asking the question, should I keep working? Well, if you're a higher income earner, then actually in terms of what it means to Social Security, not quite as important, okay? So you can see that here with the 1.4% increase. It does carry through. 10 years of work means a 14% increase, turning that $2,433 a month benefit into $2,790. So a 14% increase in benefits for getting to the full 35 years instead of just the 25 years. Okay? So higher income earners get less benefit for filling up those 35 years than do lower income earners. Okay, so with that, we want to wrap up this short video for you. We hope you found this helpful. If you've seen our full presentation, we know this is a little bit deeper dive into that question of how exactly are benefits calculated. And the most common question we get related to it is certainly, if I don't have my 35 years, should I keep working? Is there some value to me in this? How does this work? And so we hope you found this helpful. We do invite you to attend our live workshop events that we do where we take questions. We answer your questions live. We will do a full hour-long presentation that covers lots more and a lot of different topics related to Social Security. The big one and our most commonly requested topic is certainly how do taxes affect these Social Security benefits. And so we encourage you to attend. The easiest way to find us and attend one of our live events would be to simply subscribe to our YouTube channel or like and follow our Facebook page. And so we would invite you to do that. We do hope to see you again at one of our future events.